My name is Arlene Sugar Al-Amin, and I am an 18-year resident here in Flossmoor, and I'm running to be the next trustee of Flossmoor. I'm running because I have volunteered in this community for over 18 years. I am now a public servant. I have history of being a successful property investor, and through my travels throughout these last 18 years here in Flossmoor, I have come to realize that my experience and my travels will be best served as being a trustee. In our great village, we are financially, fiscally very sound. Our finances are very tight here, and although I am not a current trustee, I have taken a look at our financials, and our current management is doing an awesome job here. Myers being here have offset lots of things as far as having more traffic for our residents to keep our strong consumer dollars here in Flossmoor. However, we can for sure shop more retail and high upscale eating so that we can put more financial consumer dollars, keep it here in Flossmoor. And with that being said, I think if with me coming aboard to be the trustee, I've talked to and worked with a lot of our upper politicians, senators, and state reps, and there is money that is earmarked for our communities to develop those areas that are not fully developed. And with Myers, that's just the beginning, but we can have much, much more. I had the opportunity to be at the meeting when that was approved, our TIF project. I love the idea that they approved it, but and it will help build out infrastructure in the downtown area. But what I would like to see that happen, but I want to see that TIF spread it a little bit further than what it's already allocated for. If everything goes as planned, Flossmoor residents will see that those dollars from that TIF project, they will see the development of our community. But from my standpoint, we have to reach further outside of the downtown area. What I always tell people to do is read up on what it really means. And with our school district, that's a body within its own, the Homewood-Flossmoor district, so they operate as an outside entity. Although we have a wonderful school district here in Homewood-Flossmoor, when you talk about using the TIF to build out the downtown area, and that spreads out a little bit beyond that, it really doesn't play into our school district. So what I would tell our residents is that that's not a concern. We need to focus. Those are two different focuses. We have a very solid school district, but with the TIF and what it's going to help build with the infrastructure, you will see that will enhance our community. But again, I would say that I want to see that, and I want to see it spread a little bit further into Flossmoor. Well, from my knowledge, and again, I'm not a current acting trustee, I am well aware that they have been diligent in working on projects to rectify our flooding issues here in Flossmoor. What I would like to bring to the table and to be a strong advocate of is to make sure that that is a project that is addressed and that it's going to be ongoing. We also have dated water meters that needs to be updated, and when you have something dated, then that means that the reading is not as accurate as it should be because it needs to be updated. But I think that our current trustees are doing a great job at attacking that from the inside to make sure that we rectify dealing with our flooding issues. However, we need to put more money towards those projects because I myself live in Old Flossmoor, and I experience some water issues as well. So I think that although work is being done in those areas, there is more work that can be done, and there should be more funds allocated to that project because, you have kids that want to play in the backyard, but if your backyard floods, you can't do that. So we have to make sure that we make that a top priority here in Flossmoor. Well, I am honored to say that I've been serving on the Community Relations Commission Board for the last couple of years, and unfortunately our board was addressed with that as well because we deal with the relations of our residents, and we are that communication. But we act as a liaison between our residents and our law enforcement. So unfortunate, although that was a very tragic and an unfortunate incident here in Flossmoor, I myself think that the Community Relations Commission and our trustees, we dealt with it head on. There's a lot of work to be done there. When you're dealing with diversity and inclusion, you have to make sure that our law enforcement, they are being funded properly so that they can get continued training in mental health and in diversity and inclusion. Because anytime you have black and white issues, that's an issue. And we all know that that was a white cop who shot and killed a black woman. It's still, there are investigations still ongoing with that, but from my point of view, when you deal with things like that, you have to get in front of it, and you have to come together as a community to show that, number one, there's a high concern. Number two, you have to listen to your residents to let them, get off that steam of, there was a whole resident that was, killed. But in addition, you have to have open conversation and communication with the law enforcement here in Flossmoor to make sure that they're on the right path. And for myself, I actually did a few ride-alongs with our law enforcement. And me doing that, when you get to know someone, he was white, I'm black, and you have different thoughts and you view things differently. But when you keep the line of communication open, it helps both sides reach a common goal, and that is to police and to protect our community in a more healthy manner. So going forward, once I become trustee, I will make sure that there are proper funds allocated to that training for the mental health side of it and for the diversity and inclusion. So, funny thing, that affected me on both levels. My son, he has an old vintage pickup that we have to keep in storage because, of course, they did not approve of the pickups in the driveways. I do have an in-ground pool. What I think is sometimes you have to tap into your community and you have to evaluate the different changes that are happening. And once you evaluate those changes, then you come back and you discuss as a board what reflects best for your community. We have some things, traditions here that are solid and grand, but we have some things that when people come, things change. And change is not a bad thing. Change to me means evolution. Things constantly evolve. And as things evolve, people have to be open-minded to different things and differences of what people think. Now, for the pickup, for myself, we have no problem with storing our pickup. I have an in-ground pool, but to me, once that area is assessed, I'm not against pools that are above ground. But again, you have to go and you have to take a census of your community to see what the most of them would like. And again, we are that voice from our residents. That's what I feel is most important. What I think is one thing, but I would be a representative of our residents. That's the most important thing. One most important thing is having more retail spaces and high-end eating spaces. We have lots of strong consumer dollars here in Flossmoor. One of my goals is to work on seeing what are our options for expanding different build-out projects so that we can keep those strong consumer dollars here in Flossmoor. Of course we can go downtown and eat and shop. Of course we can go over to Indiana. Of course we can go to Tindley. But why not figure out how we can build out Flossmoor a little bit bigger and better to keep those consumer dollars here? I mean, it would help with offsetting some taxes. You know, we all know, being residents here in Flossmoor, what our taxes are. But why can we not have those upscale eating spaces so that we can spend that money here? Something else that's near and dear to me, I've raised a family of 7 here in Flossmoor, my husband and I. I love this community. We are minutes from downtown. We are in a great location, and like some people say, we're kind of a unicorn because this is a pleasant, quiet community. However, things are changing. We have people that are retiring out of this community. What are we doing to shop and to have that look for our next generation to want to come and live here and to want to raise their kids here like I did mine? So those are things that I want to get to work with on day one of being a trustee. I want to bring to all of our people that serve, our Michelle, our mayor, who I love and support dearly. I want to be a new, refreshing voice that brings new initiatives, because that's what we need in a world that is changing and moving so differently. But I also am a great contender of preserving our greatness as well. So what I would tell our residents is, one of the reasons why I would love for them to vote for me on April 4th, early voting starts March 20th, is because I live here, I shop here, I've worked here, I volunteered here. This is where I reside. This is where I love. I will be here. Okay, I travel the world, but home is Flossmoor, and we are Flossmoor strong. And my husband and myself, we plan to be here for many years to come. But we have to make sure that we have enough diversity at the table so that we can continue to move forward and evolve like other great communities. And that is really one of the main reasons why I would like to be a trustee after April 4th.